Hello, students. In this video, we'll discuss strategies to handle listening questions in the PTE academic test. The purpose here is to make you aware about some of the basic factors that you should take into consideration and the strategies that hold good. So let's dive in and understand what's there in the listening section of PTE academic. There are 8 question types in all. Each question type has varying number of items. Take a look at the table to see what each question type involves. Only the first among these 8 question types, summarize spoken text, is separately timed at 10 minutes each item. For all other questions items, you need to click on Next so that you could attempt all the questions within the time allowed overall. Before we proceed, it is important to note that only 2 question types out of 8, multiple choice, choose multiple answers, and highlight incorrect words, attract negative marking. So in all the other 6 cases, there is no point in leaving the question unanswered, even if you have to guess. You have 10 minutes to summarize part of a lecture discussion for a fellow student who was not present for the lecture discussion. There are 3 parts to the assignment. Take notes. A recording of 60 to 90 seconds is played only once. You might miss out on some key points unless you take notes. But the notes should only be key words or phrases, no long sentences. Join the key words to be included in the summary. Stay within the word limit. The dynamic word count is available on the system, so you need not actually count. This is not to underestimate the need for editing and revision, all within the prescribed 10 minutes. The assignment must be practiced in advance, under time constraints. Let's listen to a recording to know what you actually get in Summarize Spoken Text task. Do take notes.
Well, now we all know each type of tea has its own taste, smell, and visual appearance. But method for every type is almost the same, with mild variations. Well, first of all, plucking is done. Tea leaves, along with flushes, are picked from tea plants twice a year during early spring and early summer, or late spring. Next step involved is withering. Withering is done to remove excess water from the leaves. It can be done by putting leaves under the sun, or leaving them in a cool, breezy room. Then tea leaves are bruised to allow quick oxidation. After oxidation, the damp tea leaves are rolled by hand. Due to rolling, sap, essential oil, and juices inside the leaves ooze out, which is responsible for enhancing the taste of tea. Next comes the step of drying, which is done to prepare tea for sale. Lastly, grading and sorting of the processed tea is done.
Hope you've taken notes. Now, what are the key words or phrases here? All right, let's make it easy for you. These are all underlined in this transcript. Remember, you don't get a transcript on the actual test. That's why you should take notes. Don't these underlined words, phrases, make it easy to summarize the text? This is what the screen looks like for this item type. There is a purpose to every part of the assignment. There is also a purpose to the 7-second time allowed before the recording begins. Use this time to preview the prompt, as well as the 5 to 7 options that are provided in this question. This will help you understand the recording better. You have to take notes. A recording of 40 to 90 seconds is played only once. You might miss out on some key points unless you take notes. But the notes should only be key words or phrases, no long sentences. Keep eliminating the options corrupted by extraneous elements or missing out on key words. Since this is a negative marking question, don't pick an answer unless you are reasonably confident. Let's listen to an audio and practice this question type. Remember, in this, more than one option is correct.
Biotic components mean living organisms, such as plants, animals, humans, and microbes. Abiotic components are non-living factors, such as soil, temperature, water, humidity, and sunlight. Energy and nitrogen are other components that belong to the category of abiotics. As a matter of fact, physical and chemical factors make up abiotic environment, whereas biotic factors consist of producers, consumers, and decomposers. Biotics and abiotics both interact together to smoothen the functioning of an ecosystem. The food chain is an important part of an ecosystem. Biotic and abiotic factors both contribute to it. The plants prepare food with the help of sunlight, water, minerals, and carbon dioxide. These plants are eaten by herbivorous animals, which are called plant-eating animals. Further, they become the food for carnivorous animals. Man stands at the last stage of the food chain and is called an ultimate consumer. During this whole process, energy transfer takes place at every stage. Plants render oxygen to the animals and men. In return, animals and men exhale carbon dioxide, which is taken by plants.
So, what's your answer? Let's make it easy for you. Now, here is the transcript. Now, what are the key words or phrases here? Wasn't this recording all about biotic and abiotic components in the living organisms all along the food chain? The question is pretty simple, and the answers select themselves. Decomposers and herbivores are mentioned as biotic. Photosynthesis was never mentioned in either category. The only abiotic components left are in 1, 2, and 5. This is how the slide will look like for fill-in-the-blanks task. You will hear a recording for 30 to 60 seconds, and you will have to type out the missing words. The transcript in the form of question will have up to 7 blanks. Using the 7-second time to preview the transcript will help you understand the recording better. You have to type out the missing word as soon as you hear it. So keep the cursor at the first blank so that no time is lost in locating it. Using the tab to go to the next blank again means that no time is lost in locating the next blank. Co-pacing the reading of the transcript with the recording ensures that you don't miss the required word when it is spoken. Check your answers once you're done. Let's practice this item type and see if you can recall the words.
I'm sure you know that the Quarantine Service regulates all food brought into Australia. Well, obviously they want to protect Australia from diseases that might come in with imported goods, but they also want to prevent insect pests from being introduced into the country. And that's where I have a part to play. Anyway, my current research involves trying to find a particular type of bee, the Asian honeybee, and find out whether there are any of them around in the various states of Australia. We discovered a few of them in Queensland once and eradicated them. Now we're pretty keen to make sure that there aren't any more getting in, particularly to New South Wales and other states.
Have you got the words? Here's the transcript of the audio you just heard. These are the words that were used to create blanks in the previous slide. This is how the slide will look like for Highlight Correct Summary task. You will hear a recording for 30 to 90 seconds. You will have 3 to 5 paragraphs, which will be up to 60 words in length. Use the 10-second time to preview the options. But once the recording starts, give your whole attention to listening only. Take notes. Keep eliminating the options corrupted by extraneous elements or missing out on key words. Let's practice this item type and let's see if you can answer this question.
The Earth makes one full revolution around the Sun each year. It's tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees to the perpendicular plane of its orbital path. For one half the year when it's summer, the northern hemisphere tilts towards the Sun. In the other half, when it's winter, the Earth is tilted away from the Sun. If there was no tilt, we wouldn't experience seasons. Changes in the tilt of the Earth can affect the severity of the seasons. More tilt means warmer summers and colder winters. Less tilt means cooler summers and milder winters. The Earth's orbit is somewhat elliptical, which means that the distance between the Earth and the Sun changes over the course of a year. We usually think of the Earth's axis as being fixed. After all, it always appears to point towards Polaris. Actually, it's not quite stable. The axis does move at the rate of a little more than half a degree each century. So Polaris has not always been, and will not always be, the star pointing to the north.
What do you think is the correct answer? Here's the transcript of the audio you just heard. You will see that the first half of the text is all about the effect of Earth's tilt, and the second half about the effect of elliptical orbit on seasons. Options 1 and 2 are easy to eliminate. One does not talk about the tilt, and the other does not talk about the elliptical path of orbit. This is how the slide will look like for multiple choice, choose single answer task. You will hear a recording for 30 to 60 seconds. There is a prompt with 3 to 5 options. The strategies here are about the same as we discussed in the case of multiple choice, choose multiple answers, except that this is not a negative marking question, and so must not be left unanswered. Let's listen to an audio and practice this question type.
The 19th century was an age of industrial revolution. Enormous amounts of fossil fuels were used for industrial activities. With job creation over the years, people started migrating from rural areas to the cities. This trend is still continuing. More and more land that was covered with vegetation is being emptied to make way for houses. Natural resources are being used extensively for construction, industries, transport, and consumption. Consumerism has created vast amounts of waste. Also, world population has increased to an incredible extent. The rise in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere is attributed to all these activities. Most of the energy needs are met with fossil fuels, such as oil, coal, and natural gas to run vehicles, generate electricity for industries, households, etc. The energy sector is liable for about 3/4 of the carbon dioxide emissions, 1/5 of the methane emissions, and a large quantity of nitrous oxide.
So, what's your answer? All right, here's the transcript of the audio you just heard. You will see that the first half of the text is all about the excessive use of natural resources consequent to the Industrial Revolution, and the second half about the pollution-causing gas emissions resulting from the same. The question is about the author's purpose in talking about Industrial Revolution. Options 1 and 4 are about usage and wastage. Option 2 is incorrect because prosperity does not find mention in the recording. But what the author ultimately brings us to is the pollution-causing gas emissions that are the direct effect of Industrial Revolution and subsequent activity. Hence, option 3 is correct. This is how the slide will look like for Select Missing Word task. You will hear a recording for 20 to 70 seconds. There is a prompt with 3 to 5 options. The purpose of this question type is to check whether the test taker has been able to get the flow of an argument. Use the 7-second time to preview the options. While you try to catch the flow of the argument, keep an eye on the indicator, which tells you when the recording is about to end. Get more attentive as the recording reaches the end. The missing word or similar words may have been used in the recording. And of course, don't leave a question unanswered. Let's practice this item type, and let's see if you can answer this question.
Everybody has different notions in their minds about how they should be or want to become as a mother. If you are a mother for the first time, you will encounter many changes in your life. Being a mother can be very tough and different from what you have expected. This will affect your relationship with your partner because a new person is going to share your life. Many women sacrifice many things like career, social life, and a sense of freedom. Taking care of a baby the whole day can be very debilitating, and you may feel that you are losing control of.
What do you think is the correct answer? Now, here's an example in the form of a transcript. Take a minute to go through the text. You will see that the argument is how tough being a mother is. You have to give all your time and attention to the baby. You feel that you are losing control over everything. This is how the slide will look like for Highlight Incorrect Words task. You will hear a recording for 15 to 50 seconds. The question will have up to 7 deliberate errors. Strategies about usage of the time are all the same. Co-pacing the reading of the transcript with the recording ensures that you don't miss the incorrect word in the transcript as soon as it is spoken. Since this is a negative marking question, don't pick an answer unless you are reasonably confident. Now, here is the example in the form of a transcript. Take a few seconds to go through the text. Let's listen to the audio.
Single mothers should try to generate a circle of support. And if you do not have any family support nearby, share your jobs with other women. Do not discuss very big issues with children, even if you do not have any adults with you. Maintain a plan for your children, like drop-off and pick-up. Single moms should also be sure that sons should have a trusted man in their lives. It can be anybody, like a grandfather, uncle, or trusted friend. There are many things about being a single mom which involves keeping a barricade between a child's and grown-up's world. This becomes even tougher as your child grows up.
How many incorrect words were you able to find? See how circle is incorrectly written as cycle, very big as minor, trusted as tested, involves as cause, and world as word. Most of the incorrect words are similar sounding. This is how the slide will look like for Write from Dictation task. You will hear a recording for 3 to 5 seconds. The sentences are very short. If you get the meaning of the sentence, it should not be difficult to reproduce it completely. You should first choose whether you want to directly type out the sentence or whether you want to take notes. If you wish to take notes, then you can use the erasable notepad that you are provided with. Otherwise, you can type out directly. Try to understand the sentence rather than just typing words that you hear. This will help you recall the sentence once the audio finishes. Give yourself some time at the end to revise what you have just written. Let's see how many words you can write in this example. There was little available evidence to contradict his viewpoint. Here's the answer. So, how many words did you get right? That's it for now. Hope the discussion today would have shed some light on how to maximize your score in the listening section. Of course, practice is very important.